Attention home buyers, do you know what to expect on closing day or the time leading up to it? No? Don't worry. I'm going to prepare you for what happens at your closing day meeting and closing costs for buyers you need to understand so you don't get sticker shock with your lawyer. If you're a seller, check out this video so I can help you understand your closing day arrangements. You can find the link below. Hi, I'm Megan Proper, a realtor specializing in the Huron County and surrounding area, providing families with down-to-earth real estate advice. You're coming up to closing day, and it's important to understand what closing costs to expect and what you'll be responsible for paying. Closing costs are the fees associated with the transfer of ownership that occur during the final stage of the home selling process. These fees can vary and can include things such as attorney fees, title search fees, and transfer taxes. So what costs should you be prepared for? Number 7 is your down payment. The down payment is a portion of your home's purchase price that doesn't come out of your loan. Most cases, you provided a deposit with your accepted offer, and depending on your finances and mortgage plans with your lender, you may be responsible to pay the remaining down payment portion to your lawyer. Every situation is different, so have these conversations with your lender and lawyer so you can show up with the remaining money at your closing meeting. If you're pulling money out of your RSPs or receiving the down payment as a gift, talk to your lender about timeframes and stipulations around that. If you're just starting out your buying process, your mortgage broker is a great resource to help you build out your closing costs so you know how much you'll need and have left over for your down payment. Something to note on this topic since it relates to the closing costs. When you decide with a bank that you wish to take your mortgage through, inquire their mortgage fees for breaking a term. This is going to affect you in the seller closing costs down the road, and the last thing that you want is to find out that a year's time you want to move and you need to pay thousands of dollars to get out of your mortgage. If you need a recommendation to a great mortgage broker, please reach out. Number 6 is land transfer tax. In Ontario, you pay a percentage of tax based on the purchase price of your home to the provincial government. This percent does not exceed 2.5% of the home's price except for the City of Toronto, where there is an additional municipal land transfer tax payable. If you're a first-time home buyer, you may be eligible for a refund on all or part of that tax. Number 5 is property insurance. This protects you in the event of property damage of the house or contents, and some policies cover a degree of personal injury liability. If you want to know more about what you need to collect for a home insurance quote, you can check out this video or the link below for more information. Number 4 is title insurance or appraisal fees. I would discuss with your lawyer if you need extra protection in the event that there's a dispute over your property ownership. Talk to your mortgage broker about appraisal fees with different companies. Number 3 is property tax. Your property tax is a percent of the value of your home. The amount's going to vary between municipalities. You can pay this monthly, quarterly, annually, or at other regular intervals. This is a common closing adjustment, especially if the seller pays annually. If the seller is paid for the year, the lawyer will determine the amount the seller is paid up until closing, and then the difference will be added to the money that they'll get back at their closing meeting. The seller is going to pay for their full days owning the property, and the buyer is now responsible to reimburse the sellers moving forward as the owner after closing. Speaking of adjustments, other adjustments on closing can include condominium monthly maintenance fees or common expenses, tenants' last month's rent, hydro, water, or other unmetered utilities that weren't read on the day of closing. If you're buying a new build, you can have many other closing costs such as the carry-on enrollment fee, tree planting, utility hookups, levies, and so on. Number 2 is your legal fees. This cost usually starts around $900 plus and an additional amount if you have a mortgage. Number 1 is all those little fees that you need to be ready for on your statement, such as building and tax department fees, search costs, postage, utility fees, software transaction fees, registration of transfer, and charge fees, wire fees, and many other that you need to discuss with your lawyer. Other possible closing costs that may apply to you are the non-resident speculation tax, CMHC mortgage insurance, GST or HST on new construction housing, interest adjustments, status certificates, surveys, permits, and so on. Now that you're prepared for your costs, what can you expect at your lawyer meeting and what is being done behind the scenes for you? In most cases, lawyers like to meet a few days before closing to ensure that closing runs smoothly. Remember that most lawyers work 9 to 5, so you may need to plan this around your work. Also remember that all parties to the purchase agreement need to be present with their photo ID. Make sure it's not expired. You're going to be signing papers regarding your purchase and mortgage documents. Your lawyer is then going to review everything with you and give you the final amounts you need to pay in order to close, such as your down payment and your closing costs we discussed. You can show up with a bank draft or checks. Behind the scenes, your lawyer will receive everything that they need from the seller's lawyer to transfer the title and review them with you. On the closing date, your lawyer will send the money to the seller's lawyer to close the transaction. Your lawyer can then send the documents to the land titles for registration. Once the transaction's done, the lawyers will inform you and the seller the transaction is closed, and then you can finally receive your keys to your new house. If you found this helpful, subscribe to my channel for new videos just like this to help you through your home ownership journey. Check out my next video on understanding seller closing costs. You can find my contact information in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.